Now we're going to take a look at something that you may not have ever seen before. We have with us Beth Gully, who's the owner of BT Graphics. She has a graphics design business right here in Lebanon. But we're going to talk about her other business. Hi, Beth.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me here today.
Absolutely. Now, Beth, you do something called ambigrams?
Correct.
Okay. Yes. Tell us what an ambigram is.
An ambigram is a picture or a word that you can turn upside down or flip it over sideways, and it becomes either the same thing or it becomes something different. With the work that I do, it tends to be something different. And it often happens when I hear the word spoken. If somebody says that worry is the opposite of prayer, all of a sudden my wheels start turning and I start creating things. So most of the ambigrams that I've created are because the impression has come to me first or the words have been spoken to me.
Okay, can we show people what you're talking about?
Sure.
Because
okay. Well, I mentioned the one worry prayer. This I turned into a bookmark.
Okay.
And I was sitting in church and the pastor said, worry is prayer in reverse. And I didn't hear anything else he said for the next 10 minutes, and I doodled it. And so when I turn it over, now the word worry becomes the word prayer. And I tried to get it copyrighted that first year when I created it, and I got a call back from Washington, and they said, well, you can't copyright a word because a word is not copyrightable. So I went back to my table. I drew the picture of the kneeling person in prayer, which on the worry side, he looks down and out, but on the prayer side, he looks like he's surrendered in prayer. So then I resubmitted it, and I got a call back from the same gentleman, and he said that it was approved. So that was very exciting. And I've since created one with a female prayer, and I added hair, boots, and some bangs just to make it look more like a female.
I hope you're able to see this because this is really pretty amazing. I've never seen anything like it. So this is an ambigram.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And you are one of few people in the United States, right?
That is correct.
Or the
Actually,
world?
Through the world, yeah. I was featured in a book, an ambigram book, that was opened up for people to make submissions, and I was one of 94. So it doesn't say Beth Gully, Lebanon, or even Beth Gully, Cincinnati, or Ohio. It says Beth Gully, USA. So it's very exciting to know that I'm representing, one of, so many ambigram artists from the U.S. Internationally.
So, I'm fascinated by this because it's like your mind must work backwards or something.
I guess. I am a logo designer. You mentioned BT Graphics, and that is my full-time job, but I design logos, and so I learn how to manipulate images so that, real quickly it can communicate a message about a company. And so I believe that same element comes into play with my ambigrams because you do have to look for that lowest common denominator between two words that's going to allow, an A to become an R, to play with that. So, and I just look for how I can make it as minimal as possible and still communicate that letter. And an A will look different in all different words that I do ambigrams for because it depends on what the opposite letter is that I'm trying to convey.
You're trying to do. Well, let's show people some more. You have some cards here.
I do. I call these wallet cards, and I like them because they are something that you can pass on to somebody else who may need some encouragement. This one is the word fear, and when you flip it over, and it turns to love. And I was listening to a gentleman on the radio talk about when he was able to find love, that he was able to let go of the fear. And again, those were words that were spoken, and it communicated to me, and this is what I created. And this one, I actually did this one for the junior achievement in Middletown. They were looking for something for their anniversary, and so it's the word imagine. And then when you flip it over, it becomes the word empower, because they're all about empowering.
That is great.
Thank you.
I love it. And these are all available.
Yes.
Aren't they?
They are available. Chapters Pre-Loved Bookstore has most of my ambigrams available. They're also online for sale, and they are at santa-jesus.com.
Santa-jesus.com. Well, since your website's called that, let's show them something in that line.
Okay, great. So this is an ambigram that I did 20 years ago this month, actually.
Oh, my.
And it's the picture of Santa. And when you turn it over, it becomes the face of Jesus.
Do that one more time. Wow.
And in 2009, I submitted it for a competition. And I sent this card in. It's a translucent card, so you don't actually have to turn it upside down. You can just open it, and then it reveals the image of Jesus. So you get that aha factor, which is a lot of my art. I love that surprise factor. And so it won a Gold International Award. So judges all over the world considered this something that was worthy of a gold. And that was pretty exciting, since Santa and Jesus aren't really something that everybody, thinks about as much as we do as Americans.
Oh, that's great. Well, congratulations. And you
Thank
won
you.
another recent award for another one of your projects.
Yes. This is for my book. And I self-published my book. It's called The Other Side of Christmas. And this is something that I started 8 years ago. And it was my baby for so long. It was just black and white sketches. And I submitted it to the Graydon Press self-publishing printer up in Dayton.
Okay.
And it won a second place in the children's category.
Oh.
And at that time, they weren't even completely printed yet, so I gave them a mock-up. So very, very excited to know that my book is already award winner, and I've only had it out for a month and a half.
So show us why this won an award and what. So
Okay,
this
good.
book is an ambigram,
That
right?
is correct.
Okay.
The entire book turns upside down to create new images. So this is the cover, and if you flip the cover upside down, you get a surprise. So it goes from being the stockings on the mantle to being the shepherds in the manger. And some of the other pictures in here.
Could you think of a more unique gift? I mean, seriously.
Thank you. So it starts with Mom's baking cookies, and the text is very, very fun, very Dr. Seuss-like, and it all rhymes, and it adds a glue to the book. But so you have Mom baking cookies, and I'm just going to jump through a few of them. You go sleigh riding, and let me find a couple more favorites here.
Santa.
And then Santa flies overhead.
So what does Santa turn into?
Do you want to see it now, or?
Oh, well,
Okay,
go
yeah.
ahead. Go
Let me
through.
come back to it. Okay. And then this is when the children are going to bed and dreaming of bicycles, puppies, and toys. And then the last page tells you to turn it upside down. And so this
Okay.
is the first page of the story of the birth of Christ. And it's a little hard to see on the camera, but it's the angel telling Mary that she's going to have a baby. And then let me find a couple of those.
So
other
this
pictures.
is both the religious and the secular story in one book.
That is correct, yes. And then this is
Oh my gosh.
Mary and Joseph traveling to Bethlehem. And this before was Santa.
Santa,
in
that
the
was my
sleigh.
Santa sleigh, yes.
Right. And then the sleigh riders now become the angel telling the shepherds that the baby is born. And then, let's see, what was that first one I showed you? It's Mom baking cookies now becomes the closing picture. And that's the everybody in the manger with the baby and Joseph and Mary.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
So,
now there's a few other things. So this book won an award. This won an award.
correct.
And then you've got some keychains and some ornaments and some note cards.
Right. Well, what I found was people liked the ambigrams, but they didn't know what to do with them. And I thought the wallet cards are nice and the bookmarks are nice, but people wanted something that they saw every day that would remind them to turn their worry over to prayer. So what better item than a keychain? So I worked with a local store here in Lebanon, and we created these acrylic keychains, worry on one side, and the nice surprise of prayer on the back. So it's it's nice for gifts, because if somebody worries a lot, we all know people that worry more than we should. And I think God gave me this design because he knows that I worry a lot. So he's working on me. And it's also something very useful. It's a great stocking stuffer.
Absolutely.
And then I found that men weren't as excited about this because it was acrylic and maybe a little too pretty. So that's what led me to create the wooden one.
Worry and prayer.
And then the message is on the back side. So, yeah.
And I was just going to say, I first saw Beth's work a couple years ago, and I bid on a basket that she had donated.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
And I got the basket, and I gave some of these items. She didn't have the book at that time, but I had note cards and some of these bookmarks and everything. I gave some of them as gifts, and people were amazed. They loved them.
Thank
they
you.
did.
Thank
so,
you.
It's a great gift.
Well, I figured that I think obviously my faith is huge. When it comes to what God gives me, I want to turn around and do something with it. But I do think that's why he keeps giving me these, is he knows that I'll get it out. And it's like, what other facets, and vehicles can I find to get this message out there? So
if you're still looking for that perfect Christmas gift, this would be a great opportunity. So now people can get them on your website, which is
Santa-Jesus.com.
Okay. Or they're in a few local stores too?
They are. They are in Inner Blessings. They're at the Book Loft in Columbus. And then locally they're at, Chapters, Picture This, and the Golden Lamb, and then Angels in Disguise. And then the Worry Prayer keychains are also available at Sticks and Stones. And then Chapters has all of the cards as well.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Beth, for showing
You're
us your
welcome.
unique talent. I think
you.
we're so fortunate to have you here in our community.
I'm thrilled. I love Lebanon. I'm so thrilled to be here, and I'm glad that this is where I am when the book came to be. So,
Well, good luck with that.
Thank you very
Thank
much.